Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Welcome in to another rousing rendition of Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy, and the world's smartest internet show. All opinions heard on tonight's episode are our own and not necessarily those of Libservative. Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos. He, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
And you might be wondering why we're wearing these hats tonight. We're going to get into that. But first, JD Vance is trending again on Twitter for being called a couch fucker. This is very, very important information that we all needed to see, only because I thought the video was hilarious. Extremely hilarious. Bell's pulling it up for us right now. But he did have playtime and burgers with some troops, so he's fine. Go ahead and roll that, Bell.
Oh, look! It's couch fucker! You gonna fuck a couch, buddy? Go fuck a couch! Go back to Ohio, little pussy boy!
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
Yes, and the attack on Ohio was so important. I was not going to talk about this, Corey, because this is not a sports podcast, but I've been asked.
You know what happened on that couch,
people.
Dan?
What's that?
The biggest load that we've seen.
I've been asked by a multitude of people for my opinion on this, being a Michigan fan. So I figured I'd just do it here, right? And then
why
we
not?
can just you want to know what I have, and then I can be done with it. I don't have to talk about it anymore. Obviously, the big story out of the sports world last week was that the NCAA, according to some, gave Michigan's football program a little slap on the wrist, a little $20 million fine, little 10-year show cause for former head coach Jim Harbaugh. My opinion here is it's gonna trigger some people. And I don't give a fuck. Do we have to give a trigger warning on this? My opinion here is going to trigger some people, but you got to let me explain. If you're not going to let me explain, then you're just going to tell me I'm an idiot and move away. You guys won't, but others might.
I'm going
without actually listening to my explanation on this. What's the point of having a debate? I'm not here to argue. I'm always here to debate, right? So here's my controversial opinion. It's actually not that controversial. It's going to make me sound like a homer, but again, let me explain. I don't think the University of Michigan did anything wrong. Now, let me explain what that means, because notice that I didn't say that the University of Michigan did not violate NCAA rules. That's not what I said. They did violate NCAA rules.
Gray area.
So, wait a minute. No, they did. They definitely violated NCAA rules. So, if you want to use the term cheaters, and I honestly think if you're just going to scream cheater, you're simply a child who doesn't understand how college football has worked for the past 30 years. Or you're just a whiny bucknut or Spartan just denying reality.
Those are the only ones who are upset that the NCAA came down on, or didn't really come down on Michigan.
For a few of the outsiders. I don't think any SEC fans are complaining about this. Why are they not complaining about this? Well,
because their teams did it too.
because college football has been a cheater's game for 40 years. SEC big men paying players, 80s and 90s. There was a period where all but 2 SEC schools were under NCAA sanctions. Auburn, 1991, the Eric Ramsey tapes. A former player recorded conversations about cash payments and improper benefits from boosters. Alabama, 2000, the Albert Means case. A Memphis high school coach allegedly solicited $200,000 from boosters to steer Albert Means to Alabama. Ole Miss, multiple times where boosters were accused of providing cash and gifts to
And
recruits.
hookers, right? Wasn't Ole Miss with the hookers also?
No, I think that was Colorado. I think that was Gary Barnett when he used sex and alcohol during recruiting visits for Colorado. A lot of the college football people out there, they know about the SMU scandal from the late 80s, where SMU ended up getting the death penalty for their pay-for-play scheme, in the mid-'80s. And since people have admitted that, like, that was a mistake. SMU never should have gotten the death penalty, completely destroyed that program for 20 years. It's still obviously not the same.
Didn't they make the playoffs last year, though?
SMU?
Maybe not SMU. I'm thinking of
No.
there was 2 teams that were like, oh wow, I don't even know if I've even heard of those teams. One had the Bronco on it. I forget what team that was. And then there was another team that made it. I don't remember. But it was the first 12 seed. But yeah, anyways, go on.
Because the first round didn't matter. So I don't even think I paid attention to the first round this year. USC paying improper benefits. Everybody knows that, to Reggie Bush or Reggie Bush's family. Tennessee giving cash payments to players via McDonald's bags as recently as 2018, 2023. We already talked about Gary Barnett's issues at Colorado. The list goes on and on. So the bottom line is this. The NCAA has no teeth. It's an absolutely bogus governing body that nobody respects. And with NIL, it'll likely go away in the near future as the Big Ten and the SEC take over, boot out schools like Northwestern, Purdue, and Vanderbilt, and the conferences will police themselves. They already kind of have started doing that. So with all of this in mind, you have to ask yourself the philosophical question: if you are so upset about the punishment.
No, SMU was seed 10.
Were they the 10 seed last year? Yeah. The program's still not the same. They were a national powerhouse in the 80s because obviously they were paying players.
You pay players, you get the best.
But you have to ask yourself a philosophical question if you're really, really this upset about the lack of punishment, if you will, against the University of Michigan. And that philosophical question is, to what extent do the rules exist when the body that is supposed to enforce them has no power? Because that's the reality that you're looking at with the NCAA. Old, dumb, antiquated rules. I've always made this point. I used to do a sports podcast. There's probably hours of me talking about this. You can go back and find actual audio of me saying, I'm going to paraphrase myself because I don't remember exactly what I said. At the end of the Brady Hoke era at Michigan, the beginning of the Jim Harbaugh era at Michigan, I said, I was begging my school to start cheating. I was begging my school to start cheating because they sucked and they couldn't win. And the only way to win under the system that college football has is to, quote unquote, cheat the NCAA rules. I've never been a fan of vacating wins. I don't care who they are. I got in an argument with a Michigan fan the other day because they did that stupid meme where it's like, oh, the only thing Ohio State beats us in is vacated wins because they had to vacate 12 wins because of the Jim Tressel, Terrell Pryor scandal. I thought those vacated wins were stupid. My rival that I can't stand, that I have vitriol for, they should get those 12 wins back. It's dumb. It's a stupid punishment. The games happen and pretending like events just didn't happen is not the answer. So
yeah, no, I agree with that.
I'll let you go ahead, Corey, if you have anything to add. But that's
the only thing I was going to add was extrapolate on the. Go ahead. You still have to finish.
I was just gonna close with this in conclusion. That's why I'm under the opinion that I don't think the University of Michigan, quote unquote, did anything wrong. Did they break NCAA rules? Yes. Do the NCAA rules actually matter in college football over the last 30 years? Not a ton. Go ahead.
I was only when I said gray area earlier, I didn't mean to sound like I was being a Michigan simp, as we both wear Michigan hats. But I was going to say, it's like they technically, when they did their advanced scouting, it wasn't with staff from Michigan. It was people in the stands who had the same ability to record and videotape and do everything that I bet you there are other teams that do that very thing.
I don't know. There's no way to prove it.
I mean, that's obviously that's what ifs, but. Like that's what I mean by the gray area. And Stallions talked about how he came from other schools and the other schools were doing it, and he was surprised Michigan actually didn't. Michigan just got
Yes.
their hand caught in the cookie jar. They were the last one to the table. They finally decided to start trying to cheat like everyone else, and they
So
got busted for it. But now we're gonna be getting all last season we had headsets with or helmets with headsets, and it completely fixes that problem. So there you go.
right, this whole thing changed the rules, in my opinion, for that reason. Yeah, in a certain way, I think Connor Stallions is a bit of a hero for changing college
You know
football
what?
for the
Connor
better.
Stallions and Harbaugh for the sport of itself, they brought NIL to the table basically, and they brought headsets to the game.
Corey, that is actually a great point that I'm glad you brought up, because at the end of the day, the NCAA got exactly what it wanted, which was
Harbaugh
Jim
gone.
Harbaugh the fuck out of college football. They essentially gave him a lifetime ban with a 10-year show cause penalty. He's never coming back. But why did they
What
have
if
it
he
in for
comes
Jim
back at
Harbaugh?
75 and wins another natty?
Why did they have such a target on Jim Harbaugh's back? Because he was the first guy at a major program in the modern era pushing for players to get paid. And we're seeing this now. NIL in place. The NCAA is all but dead. The NCAA is on life support. There's no need for it anymore. So again, I'll go back to what extent do the rules actually exist if the governing body that's meant to police them and enforce them has no teeth or power? You know, imagine you live in an area where, you know, there's some militia that has more firepower than a police department, and you get pulled over for a speeding ticket, and you just rip it up and throw it away, and the judge goes, yeah, we're not enforcing speeding tickets anymore. What kind of power do the police actually have in that situation? They have next to none. It's technically the law. It's the law on the books. But if the judge and the police department have no actual power, to what extent does that law actually exist?
Right.
This isn't any different.
I have a video.
So if you want to say Michigan is like the biggest cheater or they cheated the hardest, fine. I'm not going to die on that hill. But at the end of the day, that's like going to a chess tournament and having every player there, or at least most of the players there, illegally moving one chess piece, two chess piece, chess pieces, and calling out the guy that illegally moved 5 chess pieces. You don't really have a leg to stand on at that point.
Right. I have one thing to add to this because Michigan has had a hell of a week. First off, the big hammer that was supposed to come down was a fucking sock and bopper. And on top of that, I have this video here just for our week because we just got the #1 recruit in 2026.
The sun came up and he smiled at me.
Fucking Jerome Moore.
Be a good one, just wait and see.
It's how Michigan players are feeling right now.
Jumped out of bed and
That's it.
I ran outside, feeling so extra ecstatic. It's the best day.
It's SpongeBob wearing a Michigan hat.
All right.
Yeah, it's silly.
Enough of that.
And then I guess just the last thing to close it out, which is just another thing that lets you know that the NCAA is just a disgusting organization. And I've thought this for years. This isn't just because of Michigan. Again, you can go back and check out my old show if you want to. You'll hear me
13 minutes talking
it a
about
lot.
Michigan. We're not even a sports podcast.
Listen,
It's the politics of college football. It's kind of it blends.
yeah, they decided to release this a week before the fucking season started. Come on. Like just a
And
shitty thing
then
to do.
landed the #1 recruit for 2026 right after. Like, fuck you, NCAA.
Get the top quarterback and then the top running back the following year. So
In 9 days.
Yeah,
I haven't
that was
been
it.
this hyped. The last time I was this hyped for this team was the 2023 season.
Be careful. I wouldn't have super high expectations. I think anything less than 4 losses is an absolute victory for Michigan this year.
They can't do any worse than they did last year. I mean, I guess they could.
Yeah, they
but
can. Yeah, they
In
can.
theory, they
Yeah,
can, right? But
absolutely can. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if they go 11-0 and then lose to Ohio State, there's going to be heads rolling. Because that's just how it goes. That's how our rivalry.
But what if they
college football is.
lose? Well, what if they lose 11-0 but still make the playoffs? And then go at the
yeah,
natty.
Then they go and win a national championship, and then Ohio State fans get to say the same thing about us. Oh, look at your Mickey Mouse title. You didn't beat us. You didn't even beat us.
I know. It's weird, right? For
They won't.
like our
They won't.
generation versus like the younger generation, or people just started paying attention to college ball. Like rivalries really don't. They've lost. Like they don't have as much like importance to like younger crowds than they do us.
They won't. do it
I
because-
remember when the whole season depended on the Ohio State game, and they're like, "All right, Grandpa, get back to bed."
It's trust me, it still does. The thing about this team is that they're not. This is gonna be sort of like a building year. There's a good chance they could lose to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not that good, but still, you're going to Norman on the road with a freshman quarterback in his second game. That's not going to be an easy game.
But isn't their
Nebraska on the road is not
quarterback a
gonna be an easy
freshman
game.
as well, or is he
Understand,
from
but
the
you're on the-
transfer portal?
You're I don't know, but you're on the road.
He's home turf. Yeah, home turf.
You're on the road. Oklahoma's not that good. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Michigan's a more talented team. You're on the road with a freshman quarterback. Nebraska on the road is not going to be an easy game. All their tough games are on the road except for Ohio State.
Mhm.
So like anything less than 4 losses, I think is a good season for Michigan this year. Anyway, we can move on from sports.
Right.
I had to get it out there. I was being asked too many goddamn questions. I was like, you know what? Let's just do it here.
We'll do it live.
The Putin-Trump summit. What a fucking dud that was. Holy shit. I'm glad we didn't preview it last week.
Yeah, what really came from it?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Actually, that's not true. I think something did come from it, but it was kind of stuff that we already knew.
Yeah, what came of it was like the biggest thing I could think of what came of it is both Trump and Putin agree that it needs to be a peace deal, not a ceasefire.
Right, and everybody's calling out Trump because he like flip-flopped on the whole we have to get a ceasefire, and now he's saying we don't need a ceasefire. I've gotten peace deals done without a ceasefire. I don't really give a shit. I don't really give a shit.
He has an okay track record. Even Hillary Clinton said if he gets this settled, and she added the caveat that if Ukraine doesn't lose any territory, that she would have to nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize.
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
Oh man, there was a glorious spectacle of American might, Corey, with all those B-2 and F-35 flyovers. Like it was the fucking Super Bowl.
I'm surprised God Bless America wasn't playing in the background.
What a beautiful
it might have been
exhibition of American might. So like the thing ended early with Trump, some people claiming that Trump kind of taking his ball and going home. And it's like, it's not that I ever blame him or any president or any world leader in general for, having talks with global leaders, especially those global leaders that are considered adversaries. But what it showed to me was, and we already knew this, and hopefully more and more and more Americans and hopefully even Europeans are learning this, which is that Putin is not afraid of Trump, and he's not afraid of the West, and he's not afraid of American leadership at large, and that this war, at the end of the day, is going to end on Putin's terms. We already knew that. That was always going to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess short of the West engaging in a hot war with Russia, which Putin knows isn't going to happen, that would be remarkably unpopular around the globe. That would be seriously upgrading global tensions for the World War III that we're all afraid of. And you have to realize that the world isn't as you want it to be. It is as it is. And
so profound, Dan.
That is the biggest issue that you see with these stupid political, especially geopolitical arguments. Everybody views the world through the lens of the world as the way they want it to be, not as it actually is. It doesn't make us Putin apologists because we know that this war is going to end on Putin's terms.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't.
You can just
All my people are getting attacked.
you can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
I think it's a very rude introduction.
Whether you agree with it or not, the world is as it is, not as you want it to be. And the only way that this war ends is, from Putin's angle, is recognition that Crimea is a Russian territory, like global recognition of that, and that the Donbass now belongs to Russia. And that you and maybe even most
Either that
importantly,
or there is another alternative, Dan, and we just kind of mentioned it briefly earlier, just a literal world war.
yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Short of the West actually engaging in a hot war, but the last thing, and maybe the most important, is that Ukraine remains neutral. And there was the whole thing from the Minsk Accords. That was the whole "niet means niet" thing. That was the whole, like, this is not negotiable.
Well, that's just it, man. Like the whole saga of this, like obviously Ukraine goes back as a part of the Soviet Union, like the whole history, but like the main catalyst of Ukraine being invaded today started 10 years ago during the Maidan coup that was helped to be initiated by the CIA, and then us instituting Prigozhin, I think his name was, into power in 2014. Because as soon as that happened, that's when Russia took over Crimea. And then Trump actually is the one that in 2016 gave, or 2018 or whatever, gave Zelensky offensive weapons to fight Russia.
But it was a quid pro quo.
Yeah. that was the issue with it, not him. Like his blunder is the
Right.
one that kicked off everything that happened. That's kind of wild, right?
Right. His blunder was that he asked for something in return. Not
Right. No one
not-
freaked
not-
out that he wanted to give because Obama was actually on point and said we're going to keep him defensive for you. And 10 years later, Putin invades Russia, probably because of Trump. And now Trump's trying to fix it. But yeah, they've had Crimea at this point for 10 fucking years. Like, they're going to keep it. They are not going to give up access to the Black Sea. It's just like, put yourself in America's shoes. And would America give up Hawaii to have a base and access to the Pacific Ocean? No, they wouldn't. We'd be stupid. And you would even say that's a dumb comparison, because it is. Because in Russia, if you compared Crimea and Hawaii like that, they would say it's a dumb comparison probably too, but from the opposite perspective. If they were the ones, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Flip the role and reverse it, I guess.
Those are the three things that have to be conceded and eventually will be conceded. It's just a matter of how many more Ukrainians does Zelensky want to let die. We are in a situation now where Ukraine is getting 60-year-old men to join the fight. 60 years old. Imagine your grandpa. I mean, your grandpas that are supposed to be enjoying a cigar and a brandy after their 4 p.m. dinner and going to bed after David Muir bids them goodnight on the national news. Imagine that. That's what is happening in Ukraine right now. They basically lost an entire generation of young men, which is going to have effects that it's going to go on for years and decades. When you don't have any young working quote unquote military aged men, your society is a little bit in trouble.
Ukraine's in a really bad spot. I see a part of the deal. People are talking about it. I forget who I saw mention it, but the 19, I think it was the EU, but like the 19,000 children abducted from Ukraine and brought to Russia. A part of the deal should absolutely those kids get to return home.
Yeah. I like how nobody talks about those hostages.
Right. Well, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it seems like now that like the whole second time they all came in too, you could see like all of Europe, including Zelensky, kind of capitulated to Trump's like gimmick. Zelensky came in the suit. He makes the joke to the guy, and which is a jab because he knew Trump would like it. Like, did you see that at all? There was an interviewer. There was an interviewer that said, "Oh, Mr. Zelensky, I see you're wearing a suit this time." And he goes, "Oh, yes, I dressed up." And Trump goes, "Yeah, he's the one that attacked you last time." And he goes, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "You see, I changed. You're still wearing the same suit." And then they all laughed. And then after that, an interviewer asked Zelensky if he'd be open to elections, because that's something we've criticized him on. They haven't had an election since they've been invaded. I mean, like
basically made other political parties illegal.
Yeah, and so he said he would be open to an election, And then like when they finally got the war over, he goes, but right now we're in war, so we can't really have an election. And Trump goes,
Okay.
and then Trump goes, really? So if in 3.5 years I had a war, I can keep the presidency? And like nobody really laughed, but Zelensky just goes and like laughed at his joke. That was like, it's gonna make half the country go, oh, he didn't mean it, and then the other half's gonna go, Jesus Christ, what did he just fucking say?
Yeah, and I'm actually glad you brought that up, because that kind of points out the difference between Putin and Zelensky within their meetings. And
Oh,
that's
and
kinda
Zelensky spoke English. Yeah, like
yeah,
he's really trying to butter him up.
You can tell the difference in the dynamic between those two men, because clearly Zelensky is showing that he has to have the United States on board, and Putin is showing he's not afraid at all.
But Putin is still buttering
do.
Trump up in his own little way, because he said I actually looked this up, Bell, because I heard this and I'm not 100% sure. But he said that the war wouldn't have happened if Trump was in charge.
Yeah, I think he said that a while ago. I think you're right. I mean, Trump. We know Trump has said it a million times.
Yeah,
There's
and Putin mirrored it, and it definitely, that was like, I think for Trump.
Then you have the Euro alignment, rejecting land for peace. These deals done by France, Germany, and the UK, saying that territorial decisions must be made by Kyiv. Honestly, I fully agree with that last statement. They should be made by Kyiv. But if all of the decisions for all the territorial decisions should be made by Kyiv,
then the ammunition stream and logistics should be. Yeah,
he did say that. Yeah,
and so then the ammunition supply, or the supply lines and stuff, who's are paying for it, should be able to dictate whether or not they're gonna give stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of how this works. You don't get to say that they get to make all the territorial decisions when they're not the ones providing the money and the munitions to carry out this war.
You feel terrible for Ukraine because they're a proxy in a whole bigger grudge match, right? And it's shitty. It's really shitty for Ukraine. But right now, this whole group get together is basically telling Ukraine, like, all right, dude, we're bored. We had fun for a little while, but we're gonna go home.
Well, the thing is, it's a grudge match now between Western Europe and Putin. And Western Europe is just, and Ukraine included, is just grasping at everything they can do to keep the United States in this conflict. And one of the worst qualities that Trump has is, how do you keep Trump involved in this? Well, you do what Zelensky did. You go in and you, like you said, Corey, you butter him up a little bit. If you tell him how great he is, and how funny he is, and what a great leader he is, you can keep him around.
Right.
And
there's also talks from Trump, I believe, that there was going to be basically protection guarantees if the war ends, that America will have Russia's back, but they won't be a part of NATO.
Ukraine's back.
I mean, Ukraine's back, yeah, but they won't be a part of NATO.
Yeah, I actually had it in front of me. Actually, I already know them. I don't even need to have them in my notes.
Like it is literally. And then Trump actually capitulated a little bit too, and he goes, I've ended 6 conflicts and wars and stuff, and he goes, and this one, he goes, I thought this one was going to be easy. He's like, but it's not.
The demands that Zelensky is making have not changed. And that's part of the problem. That's not how negotiations work. I mean, to be fair, the demands that Putin is making also have not changed, but Putin's the one holding all of the cards in this fucking situation. So Zelensky is still saying, we're not giving up Donetsk and Luhansk, and we are not recognizing Crimea as Russian. And yes, he wants, here I have it. There we go. I finally found it. Formal security guarantee akin to NATO's Article 5. That is an absolute fucking deal breaker for Vladimir Putin. There is absolutely no way Putin stops if that's part of this. You want to start talking about land swaps? I mean, maybe you could get Putin to come around a little bit on some of those. But
Right.
if
Give
you're
him
talking
Chernobyl.
if you're talking about security guarantees akin to Article 5, there's no way Putin's going to accept that. Absolutely, unequivocally, no way, because Putin's biggest thing is making Ukraine neutral. Always has been Putin's biggest thing. And honestly, people are going to call me a Putin apologist for saying this. I don't think that's that crazy. When your next door neighbor isn't even like your ally, you're not even demanding that they become your ally, you're just demanding that they be neutral. Again, I bring this example up all the time. Imagine if instead of Ukraine, we're talking about Mexico. Like, what do you think we would be doing here right now? You think we'd be happy with just neutrality from Mexico?
Right.
You think our government would be happy with that? No, they wouldn't be happy with just neutrality. They would demand you will absolutely stop doing business with the Chinese or the Russians or whoever was trying to influence Mexico.
Right. It'd have to be a powerhouse right below Mexico, right?
Yeah, it's just I don't love Vladimir Putin, but my God, I don't think that's a crazy ask from him. Given the current situation. It's not that nuts. I don't know. But at the end of the day, this summit basically just told us everything we already knew. Russia's going to win this war, and they're going to get what they want. And there's nothing the West can do.
They're not going to outright win it. You know their goal essentially was to take over Ukraine, but Ukraine actually put up a little bit of a fight.
I don't know that that's necessarily true. I don't think there's any way to prove that.
Yeah, there's no way to prove it either way.
But they certainly wanted the Donbass region. And you have to ask yourselves the reasons for why they wanted the Donbass region. I mean,
remember Putin did that whole speech that whole area was like supposed to be like historically Russian.
Yeah, there's a huge population of ethnic Russians in that region. So call me crazy, but would it be wild to have the Donbass region or Donetsk and Luhansk individually decide who the hell they want to live with in the divorce on their own? Would that be wild? Would that be crazy? Because imagine. So if Putin's right, and I got to imagine Putin knows the region better than anybody in the West.
Or us, at least.
Right. Better than anybody in the West. Can you imagine the win that Putin could claim if you allowed the Donbass region to have a democratic vote and choose Vladimir Putin over the democracy that is Ukraine?
And they choose the democracy that is Russia.
Right.
You're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
Can you imagine the win he could claim for that?
I wonder which country is more corrupt, Ukraine or Russia.
Ukraine.
I know they're both out there.
It's the most corrupt country in Europe.
Well, Russia's pretty fucking corrupt too.
Source?
People falling out of windows and being poisoned that are political adversaries.
That didn't really happen.
Source, the internet.
Grok. Because Grok is the arbiter of truth now because people don't understand. It's just scrubbing the internet.
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
I know. I guess I do. I concede. You got anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, honestly, dude, I hope it ends. A lot of people are dying. You know, that would be like, if I woke up after a night of drinking at that round table with Putin and Trump, wondering how the hell I got there, and they asked my opinion, I would say basically that, yeah, let those two areas, like Putin, you're claiming claims to him, Ukraine's claiming claims to him. You both claim to be free countries. Let them decide.
Yep. What's the best way to do that? Stop giving them weapons. Zelensky has no choice.
Right.
He won't have.
Yeah, no, that's just it. Like, America still has a very big part to play in this. Like, America can say, all right, we're going to give them even more weapons, or we're going to give them less. Like Europe and America still have a very large thumb on the scale here.
Bagel
They are
tear.
kind of
Put it in reverse, tear. Put it in
So
reverse.
they're going
Oh,
for
Lord.
non-international, like, what was it in the very beginning? Ukraine wanted to seek a peace deal, and Boris Johnson told him no.
Yeah, there was no guarantee that was going to go through, but the fact that it was basically blown up
Before you could
because-
even try.
Yeah, because Boris
And
Johnson
no one
didn't
talked
want
to
it.
Putin face to face or anything since the war until last
Dude,
Friday.
It's this.
Is it all charades? Possibly.
No, it's to me. It sounds like a little bit of a Neville Chamberlain complex. Honestly, like there's so much of that going on with Putin and with Hamas, and like this idea that this whole we don't negotiate with dictators and terrorists when we do it all the fucking time.
Yeah, we do.
We do it all the time. The West does it all the time.
Syria,
So does the United
Afghanistan.
States. But they don't want no leader wants to be seen as the Neville Chamberlain of any situation. Nobody wants to be seen as the guy that, tried to find the off-ramp with Hitler and couldn't find it. Right? And so I think that's a lot of what it boils down to. Nobody wants to be Neville Chamberlain. Everybody wants to be Winston Churchill.
Mm-hmm.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. My goodness. That low-key baddie. You think she should have been in the fucking American Eagle commercial instead of Sydney Sweeney?
Go fuck yourself.
I mean, if Sydney Sweeney is mid, as so many people are claiming, what is Marjorie Taylor Greene?
A goblin?
Under the bridge with the trolls? So wait. If Sydney Sweeney is mid, what's Lauren Boebert? She's got a long face, but she's got a banging body. We know that.
The head of the Goblin Committee. I don't fucking know.
It's just so stupid. See people posting like these like candid photos of Sydney Sweeney on a beach.
After she's had salt water and eye for 45 minutes.
Right, yeah, and her hair is all over the place. Like, oh man, why does everybody find this woman so hot? It's like, you fucking idiots. You got her. She's totally mid. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is she was on with Matt Gaetz. I think it was late last week. It was a couple days ago. You know me on the show by now. Time runs together a little bit. But she actually used the G word. Belle's got the video here. Belle, bring up the bring up the Marjorie Taylor Greene video, because I honestly, dude, I keep using those two words like interchangeably. Because she finally used she is out here using the G word with regards to Israel. And I never thought I would get to a place where I started to become...
Yeah, the G word that rhymes with go outside.
I don't think it rhymes with that, but I think people know where you're going with it. You having trouble finding it, Belle? Did I send you the wrong fucking link?
Oh,
no, he's got it. I see Belle's quick. He can find even if you send him the wrong link, he knows what you're looking for. His producer skills are growing by the day.
Like a Matt Gaetz, nice fresh,
look at that
fresh
quaff.
face of Botox.
He's freshly coiffed. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene knows how to work a camera. Look, she's got that camera kind of above her head, so nobody can see her chin.
Oh yeah, she knows what she's doing.
I think Belle's trying to roll it, but we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did want to get your reaction to comments from Lindsey Graham recently. He gave
Waiting for you guys
said
to
that if the
shut
United States
up.
pulled the plug on Israel, God would pull the plug on the United States. Is that your understanding of Scripture and how God thinks about geopolitics?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that is like such a fake Christian doctrine.
As a matter of fact, Jesus says that he is the way to God. He is the door. He is the way to heaven. He clearly states that in the Gospel of John. And it's said over and over in the New Testament. We don't go to heaven by how much money we pay Israel and how many of Israel's wars that we fight and how many people are
heaven through
murdered
good
as a
works
result of it and how
in the
many
Bible.
children are starved and how many innocent people, whether Palestinian, Christian, or children, are blown to pieces while Israel is basically committing genocide in Gaza. That's not the way to heaven. So I don't think I'll be taking Lindsey Graham's advice on that. And I think many Americans are fed up with it and they're seeing through it. You know, here's one thing: we can support our ally Israel, but at the same time, we do not have to bow down to this false gospel and this doctrine, which I would call a deception that has been just taught and basically hammered into many American Christians, good-hearted Christians, people that want to do the right thing. So, you know, I was furious when I saw that. And this has to stop, Matt. People are waking up to it, and I know they're sick and tired of it.
And listen,
got to give her credit where credit is due, man.
I mean, 100%. And she does this wonderful job of using scripture to talk to her fellow Christians. Like, we're not Christians on this show, but we were both raised in churches. We understand scripture a little bit. And it
resonates. If you're talking to someone about Christianity, it resonates to cite the Bible.
Yeah. And one of the things is with Christian Zionism is this idea that once Israel is reconstituted, that's when the second coming happens and the rapture happens. And people like Marjorie Taylor Greene look at those beliefs and basically call them blasphemous. I tend to kind of agree with her on that one. The way that she was able to use the scripture to tell Christians why they're wrong for supporting this. Why they're wrong for supporting this, as she called it, her words, not mine, this genocide in Gaza.
Demonetized.
And she absolutely nailed it. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. It certainly couldn't have said it better from a Christian perspective. She's not the only one who feels this way, but she's kind of the only one in Congress, at least on the Republican side, that is not letting this go. I'm not a huge fan of how she backtracks a little bit. She does this every time she criticizes Israel. She goes, it's okay to support our allies. It's like, babe, you can leave that part out. You can leave that part out. You don't have to say that every goddamn time.
She has to.
No, she doesn't, because
she's the congressman.
But she's not going for the APAC money. She doesn't have to say that. She put the sign on her door last week that basically said no fucking APAC money.
Oh, did she?
Lobby money. Yeah.
That's funny.
I can't remember what the sign said, but it was something about if you're lobbying on behalf of a foreign nation, I don't want anything to do with you. I can't remember exactly what the hell the thing said. Maybe it was fake. I probably got fucking AI cheated again.
You got boomered.
But either way, she's clearly stated she's not looking for that APAC money. Thomas Massey's not looking for that APAC money. They don't have to throw in the Israel's our ally thing. Even that's what they believe. Just keep that part out. She's been remarkably principled on this issue. And I kind of wish more people on the left, not that there are zero. I mean, I've heard Jimmy Dore mention this many times, but people on the left, there aren't zero, but there aren't enough that are looking at this and going like, hey, guys, this can kind of be part of the political realignment. This can kind of be part, especially of the geopolitical realignment.
Yeah.
What do you do? The whole Jimmy Dore line of, being asked, what do we do if MAGA supporters want to join our cause? And he says, you declare victory. This is another one of those examples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The left should be celebrating this.
And some are. I give them credit where credit is due. Some are, but not nearly enough on this issue. Because there has to be a point where the abroad stuff goes away, because that is something that I guess you could call it now the MTG Thomas Massey right, and the
I would throw
Bernie
Josh
Sanders,
Hawley in there too.
Sure, Josh Hawley, Matt Gaetz, all those guys. I'm sure there's a lot of names we're leaving out, but where you can come together in a coalition with sort of like the Bernie Sanders left.
And they have in different bills.
Yeah, and get the issues back, like re-onshore the issues to the United States. Then y'all can start fighting over policy again, because it doesn't matter. Like you don't have the ability to argue policy when so much of your tax dollars are paying for a $1 trillion Pentagon and throwing them all over and throwing all the money overseas.
Because
on the things that you can agree on abroad, and it's like the same. It's the same thing that like I always argue about with libertarians, where it's like, is minarchism versus anarchism? Which one's better? It's like, we're not in a place where we can argue about which one's better or worse right now. First, we need to have a more free market and a smaller government. We can agree on those things, and let's make those things happen first. When we get to a point where we can start arguing over minarchism versus anarchism, that means we've won. That's awesome, and that's the way they should view this.
Yeah, and here's the thing too: is like, on Straight Arrow News recently, they had an article that was talking about how Democrats have lost 2.1 million registered voters since 2020, while Republicans gained 2.4 million. Mm-hmm. If the Republicans' new idea after Trump leaves is, like anti-interventionalism, bringing like congressmen to heel on their stocks and stuff like that, and bills that are like pro-worker, they're going to wipe the floor with the Democrats. And that's so insane to even say, because that's such low-hanging fruit of the Democrats, because that type of shit is supposed to be their fucking party.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not.
And then, like, the second best option that they have, that the Democrats have, they don't even see that option. And I completely disagree with this option, because I don't agree
These
with
are 2024 numbers, by the way. Not 2025.
Before you read them off, the thing that you already did read them off. You're talking about the lost voters.
Yeah,
voters.
And there's percentages, but and then there's also a huge increase in independence. But go ahead.
The second best option that Democrats have, and I think this is not a great option, but if we're just talking about trying to win elections, just talking about electorally, would be to embrace the Zoran Mamdani wing of the left. Because I don't know if people want to hear this, but I'd be willing to jump on Kalshi right now, by the way, not a sponsor, and place a pretty large bet on the fact that Zoran Mamdani is going to be your next mayor of New York. That's going to be a disaster. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be good. But he's in a spot now where he's going to win for the same reasons that Donald Trump won. He's going to win on the anti-establishment ticket. He's not anti-establishment because he's a socialist, which kind of he just wants to build a new socialist establishment inside the city of New York. And that's basically what all socialists want to do on a national level. So it won't be good, but if all we're talking about is electoral strategy, that's kind of the Democrats' second best option, other than gaining back the workers and bringing back the issues to our shores as opposed to overseas. But they're not going to embrace that either. If they don't do either of those things, they have no chance. Now listen, a lot can happen in a year between now and November of 2026. We talk about this all the time. And definitely a lot can happen between now and 2028. Because we are reaching a point now where the right was so excited about new media and sort of getting away from this fucking David Muir, this certain, not to attack David Muir, but this sort of mainstream one place to get your news thing space. But now it's turning its back on them a little bit. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. I kind of think all these things kind of they meld together if you put the pieces together the right way, which I'm not very good at. I'll let you do it, or I'll let the listeners do it.
Yeah, good correction there. I don't want to fucking do it.
I'm not gonna let you do it, but they are. They're backing off on this a little bit because they're seeing the holes in their own their own body politic.
Yeah, it is, because it is kind of a two-way street. When you're like, and it seems like Republicans are doing it a lot more than Democrats. They have kind of turned their back on the mainstream media, and they have been going to the podcasts and things like that. And not only are they having these 3-hour conversations of getting what they want to say out in long-form conversation, they're hearing feedback from typically someone that's not like more associated with the working class than elites than they would with a 3-minute conversation with a reporter with a scripted questions reading off of a teleprompter, essentially. Like, they're getting a better pulse of the people.
They're kind of, but the downside of that is as new media keeps moving forward, and I totally support new media because it's the easiest way for a more free speech media platform, but it doesn't mean it doesn't come with consequences. And one of the consequences that we're seeing on the right now, and this could completely shift in 4 years, who knows? But one of the consequences that we're seeing is that they're creating those right-wing echo chambers that we so often criticize the mainstream media being for the left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody that listens to Charlie Kirk and
It's
Jack
just more
Posobiec,
niche.
yeah, like you're still creating this echo chamber off on the right, and it's fine, it's First Amendment stuff, but as a listener, as somebody who consumes news and who consumes political opinions and punditry, you really have to, because it's kind of a slow build. Like you have to be careful not to like slide into that echo chamber that's on the other side of new media, because I can even say for myself, I found myself gravitating in the last few years a lot more toward conservative content, not because I'm a conservative, but the original reason why I did it is because it was the only place that I could really go to find like genuine conservative content. And now I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my goddamn my podcast library. Fucking 90% of them are right wing all of a sudden. Like, I didn't do that intentionally. That wasn't my intention when I first started on this journey.
Just step out of that echo chamber, Dan.
Yeah, I guess I better. I'm going to become Mark Levin like tomorrow.
You gotta be careful, buddy.
I'm turning into Glenn Beck. I don't think I can turn into Mark Levin. I criticize Israel too much. I criticize Israel at all.
I know we just went off on a crazy fucking tangent.
Yeah, sorry, that was my fault. I'm not usually going to use that. That's usually Corey's duty.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, going back to something like we were talking about her coming out about the what's it called? The
G word?
Yeah, the G word going on in Israel.
Yeah.
She also just recently said 2 recent decisions made by the State Department both involve children. We need to be the America that allows war-torn children to come here for life-saving surgeries, and the America that never releases a foreign child sex predator that our great Leos caught, law enforcement officers. So there was a guy who was in Nevada. His name was Tom Artyom Alexandrovich.
Alexandrovich. Yeah.
He got caught trying to solicit a 15-year-old. And he was, I believe, an Israeli diplomat or like someone a part of like IDF or something. He was in America, got caught trying to solicit a 15-year-old, got arrested for it because it was a sting done by the law enforcement there. And then he was released. He was given like a $10,000 bond that he paid, and then he was released. And then
the acting head of data and AI at Israel's National Cyber Directorate was arrested in Nevada in a federal child predation sting operation, but escaped the law by returning to Israel. He was one of the 8 people arrested on charges of luring a child with a computer for a sex act, a serious felony under Nevada law. I don't think that probably didn't need to put that in there. I think that probably went without saying. After being detained, Alexandrovich was released on a $10,000 bail and allowed to flee to Israel. Now, was that the 10% number Right? 'Cause you know, bail's usually
No,
10%.
it's probably 10% of 10,000.
Okay, really? Okay. See, that's what's
Usually when they say the bail, you have to pay like 10%, but if you abscond, you have to pay the whole thing in restitution.
So where he remains and is unlikely to be extradited. Can I just say this, by the way, about this Tom Alexandrovich guy? He looks like he was born premature.
He's a preemie baby.
He's got like a scrunched in face, not in like a Charlie Kirk way. He just looks like he has a small head, and he's got dude. He's totally got a 5 head going on. Holy shit!
And but then here she's also like she's a pretty staunch like immigration person, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah.
But she's also critical. Like we were letting children from Gaza come here. There were NGOs and nonprofit organizations that were bringing children from Gaza who are malnutritioned, injured from bullets that came from not Hamas, and and are like starving, and they brought them here for medical attention. And then Laura Loomer broke this story of like how the hell did these people get here? That see you next Tuesday. And then the State Department was like, "Oh yeah, this is what Laura said, so we're just gonna go with it." And they nixed all of, and they paused all of the visas for it.
And that fat fuck Randy Fine just jumped all over it. That
oh yeah, did you read what he said?
I did not. Do you have it? I meant to go look for it before we started the show, and I completely forgot. I'm sure he said. Second. I'm sure he just said something to the effect of, "We should just let them starve."
Oh yeah, Randy Fat Fuck Fine said real Donald Trump and Secretary Rubio have immediately halted visas to Gazans that were being issued by deep state actors while we get to the bottom of how this national security risk was allowed. Massive credit needs to be given to Laura Loomer for uncovering this and making me and other officials aware. Well done, Laura. What a piece of shit. But so then she goes, we need an America that allows war-torn children to come here for life-saving surgeries, and the America that never releases a foreign child to sex predator that our great law enforcement officers caught. But in this circumstance, those war-torn children from Gaza and this foreign child sex predator is from Israel and works directly for Netanyahu. Let me guess. Would it be anti-Semitic to drag Netanyahu's cyber executive director back and prosecute this POS to the full extent of the law, and at the same time let Palestinian kids who had their limbs and bodies blown apart receive surgeries in America? I'm not saying bring in refugees or use taxpayer dollars, not at all. But when did America's heart grow so cold to refuse innocent children privately funded surgeries and then they return home after they recover? Wouldn't we allow Israeli children if they were the ones needing surgery? Or war-torn children from any other country? And the most concerning question is when and how did America become so subservient to Israel that we immediately release a child sex predator after arrest with 100% locked up case with evidence and let him off to fly back to Israel? Would we do that with a Mexican child sex predator, a Chinese sex predator, any other country's sex predator? I know God does not discriminate in his love for children. Why would we?
My, oh my, Marge. What a hero.
Right. That's what I'm saying. At
least on this subject, because like that's the whole thing is like, yeah, she said some crazy shit in the past. And God knows, if you go back and listen to some of our older episodes, the amount of times we hammered Marjorie Taylor Greene for stupid shit that she said, for stupid policies that she's supported. 100%. It exists. It's out there. But she's always come off as mostly principled. I mean, she understands the rules of international war better than probably
Laura Loomer.
Certainly Laura Loomer, but like probably than half the people at the Pentagon. It's like, yeah, dude, when you are crushing a population with bombs, you are responsible for that population. Mm-hmm. Those are the rules of international war. And to be honest with you, for anybody that wants to say they shouldn't come here, you know what? I actually kind of agree. They shouldn't come here. You know why
they shouldn't have to?
Because they shouldn't have to. They
shouldn't have to. When all the fucking hospitals are being bombed in Gaza and they're not letting in any fucking help, what do you expect them to do? The alternative to this is these kids just die.
Or the other alternative is Israel takes care of their health issues. Why? I mean,
Why aren't they? They're the ones that are
we
doing
not allowed to demand that?
decimating.
Because Corey, they're Hamas. These children are Hamas.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. So going back to the visas that you were talking about, Corey. So Marco Rubio with plans to revoke those
just bullshit.
Plans to revoke those humanitarian visas while people like fat fuck Randy Fine and Laura Loomer investigate or whoever the hell they're putting in charge to investigate all of the people that are coming through to make sure they're not Hamas.
Right. Because that child that was being solicited, even though it was a sting operation, wouldn't have been Hamas.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was.
Are you sure?
Yeah. The Israeli came from Israel to Nevada to sexually solicit a Gazan child brought from Israel.
Yeah, totally. And that Hamas 15-year-old girl honey dicked him, and you're anti-Semitic for saying any different.
You're right, Dan. I forgot.
Yeah,
no, it's absolutely insane, and it's insane that it's a broken clock is right twice a day, and Marjorie Taylor Greene was right in this case, man. Because fuck Laura Loomer.
She's been good on this. Not Laura Loomer. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been good on this. So Marco Rubio wants to revoke those humanitarian visas. Maybe he already has officially. I haven't looked in the last couple of days.
He's such a little bitch.
Right? Yeah, dude, he's not even going over to negotiate anything. He's not involved in the Ukraine stuff. He's not really involved in the Israel stuff. He's just a goddamn figurehead. But this list of people that are supposed to get these humanitarian visas, I believe, is at like 5,000 kids, which sure, of course, that includes probably their parents or their guardians or whoever the hell they have left, since, everybody's...
You remember the only one that actually stood up to him was what was his name? The big fat guy. And the
Chris Christie?
Yeah, Chris Christie. He was the one that stood up.
All you had to say was the big fat guy, and it was my first guess. I was like, well, I know it wasn't Randy Fine.
Even then, all of those other Republicans were just being little fucking simp beta bitches on the stage defending Trump when he was attacking Trump.
This list of this list of visas that was supposed to go out, these humanitarian visas, was about 5,000 deep for kids. About 70 or so of which have been brought to the U.S. for treatment through an organization called Heal Palestine. Now, all you have to do to know what happened here is go, kids from Gaza are being brought over. That means parents or guardians or whoever's with them have to come too. That is totally enough for idiots like Laura Loomer to start freaking out. So what are they going to do?
And maybe their parents were coming over. Their parents might be dead.
That's what I mean. Parents, guardians, whoever was with them. So what's the first thing they got to do? Well, they got to look into how they're getting here. They're getting here through this group called Heal Palestine. So
it's from private donations. It's not even a government entity. The government isn't even paying for this. It's not my tax dollars. It's not my tax dollars. It's not your tax dollars.
That's how you feel about Laura Loomer.
Yeah, that's probably what she smells like.
She looks like she smells like old lady makeup.
Yeah.
You know that smell that your grandma's makeup has, that just intense. Like I don't even know what it is. It's like a sweet rubber smell.
Hope South Park rips her next.
So Heal Palestine is an Ohio-based 501c3 that describes itself as a medical treatment program, not a refugee resettlement program. What do you think? I think you already know what the answer to this is, Corey. What do you think the problem with this organization is?
Oh, they're Hamas, obviously.
They're Hamas, right? Of course, yes. That's exactly what it is.
That was making a joke.
yes. That's exactly what. At least
damn
that's what they're claiming. So the proof that Heal Palestine is quote unquote Hamas or Hamas affiliated is that their books with the IRS look a little funny, and that the founder had some problematic tweets, and that an unofficial Hamas website from back in 2003 had a hyperlink to both the official Hamas website and the founder of Heal Palestine's original organization, the Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. So this is the evidence that suggests that Heal Palestine is involved with Hamas. So I'll make a similar point to what I made last week, when it's just kind of like who cares? Because what that shows me is, if this organization really is involved with Hamas, kind of shows that Hamas cares about kids a little bit more than the IDF. Is that a controversial thing to say? Sure it is. But the fact of the matter is, this is all you have to do. All you have to do is say that something or someone is involved with Hamas, or is suspicious of being involved with Hamas, and you can completely discredit them. And even when it comes to giving children health care for innocently being involved in,
or killing a journalist.
Killing a journalist, yeah.
Oh,
because that journalist
Dan.
is obviously Hamas. Yes.
Oh, that's a long 1 minute. Breaking news. Our correspondent, Forrest Gump, just got back from going undercover and actually dating Laura Loomer.
Oh, really?
He's got this to say.
She tastes like cigarettes.
Yeah. And old lady makeup, I'm sure.
Yes.
Scoop it off with a spoon. Feed it.
Ew, gross.
Dog. Just don't let Chrissy know I'm anywhere near that dog. Yeah. So that's the proof that they're involved with Hamas, and apparently the head of Heal Palestine said some things like he thought that the first Intifada was a legitimate what's the word? I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the tweet in front of me, but said that the first Intifada years ago was like a legitimate political movement. At the end of the day, dude, like, that's just an opinion, and it is absolutely not proof that anybody is involved with Hamas. And it's like they also do this thing, right? Like, the Israel supporters and the Israelis themselves, the Israeli government, I should say.
So, like, here's the thing too, for context. When it comes to Israel,
but they always do this thing. They do this thing where they're like, Hamas controls everything. Hamas controls absolutely everything, and they're all horrible, and they're responsible for all this death and murder. And it's like,
and Hamas are terrorists, and you know what? You should be able to be allowed to rape terrorists. That's right. That was an actual argument in Israel. Like, that's not me being hyperbolic at
all of the people that were in the Israeli prisons. But the whole point is, if you're going to constantly say that Hamas controls everything in Palestine, doesn't it kind of stand to reason that, like, a humanitarian aid organization that's trying to get people out of Palestine, they kind of wouldn't have a choice but to deal with Hamas at least a little bit? Like, is that crazy to say? It just kind of seems obvious to me. You got Laura Loomer talking here, Corey?
Nope. That's what I just want you to read out loud that CBS article headline.
The headline?
Yeah.
Israeli lawmaker defends alleged rape of Hamas prisoner as far-right protesters rage over IDF troops detention.
Yeah.
Rape,
so
rape
if
is
they
really
think
bad, unless you're raping a terrorist.
Yeah, if they think that raping people who are allegedly Hamas, then killing children of them, then they just don't give a fuck. That's the thing, is they don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I don't really have that much to add to that. We have a Secretary of State that is okay allowing Palestinian children to have life-threatening injuries, to lose limbs, to not get treatment because the organization that is bringing the kids over here, free of U.S. tax dollars, outside of, government grants, of course, but what 501c3 isn't getting government grants?
Children.
He's totally cool with because we just have to make sure that we're
I'm
not
sorry,
gonna
that
leave
was
Hamas here
that was
first.
that was a bit uncouth here.
No, it's totally good.
Go
We
ahead.
haven't played the video yet, Bell. Bell, we didn't play the Rubio video yet, did we? Let's see what Marco Rubio had to say as he was on Face the Nation late last week. Oh, I think we summarized it pretty well. But you know what? Let's just hear it. Let's get that source material out there, Corey. We always talk about how important source material is. It's not all about grok. You have any time?
Right.
Do you have any idea how many times I'm on Twitter or on X and I'll be like
You just see
fake
people
Rubio
just
meme?
ask Grok
Yeah.
if it's true.
At Grok, is this true?
I've seen it.
It's just all the time.
But then like half the time you see someone question Grok with like context and Grok is like, "Oh no, actually you're right."
Yeah, it'll correct itself. It's all about how you ask the question. Go ahead, Bell.
Why did the State Department just announce that they're halting visitor visas for all Gazans coming here for medical aid? Why would some of these kids, for example, who are coming to hospitals for treatment be a threat?
Well, first of all, it's not just kids. It's a bunch of adults that are accompanying them. Second, we had outreach from multiple congressional offices asking questions about it. And so we're going to reevaluate how those visas are being granted. Not just to the children, but how those visas are being granted to the people who are accompanying them. And by the way, to some of the organizations that are facilitating it. There is evidence been presented to us by numerous congressional offices that some of the organizations bragging about and involved in acquiring these visas have strong links to terrorist groups like Hamas. And so we are not going to be in partnership with groups that are friendly with Hamas. So we're going to pause those visas. There was just a small number of them issued to children, but they come with adults accompanying them, obviously. And we are going to pause this program and reevaluate how those visas are being vetted and what relationship, if any, has there been by these organizations to the process of acquiring those visas. We're not going to be in partnership with groups that have links or sympathies towards Hamas.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, we have to leave it there.
Oh, you know what? I'm surprised that they cut him off so quick because next who's about to say,
Daddy, you're my daddy.
Yeah,
about Trump.
I don't like your dad, so you're going to die of cancer.
you're
I don't like your dad, so guess what? You're just gonna bleed out.
Didn't it oddly sound like Marco Rubio kind of wanted the kids and not the adults to come here?
Sorry,
Just saying.
Sorry, kiddo. We don't like your parents. It's just like, sorry, kiddo, you didn't get enough donations on your GoFundMe.
Like that's a total tactic that you can use to just at best dismiss a genocide and at worst take an active part in it. It's these others are really, really bad. And we have to vet them to make sure that they're not involved with terrorist groups. But we all know it's the old was it Lenin or Stalin or one of those two, the old line of "You show me the man, I'll show you the crime," right? It's like that's the game that they play. Because if they want to find a way for Heal Palestine to be connected to Hamas, they will do it. They will find a way. And that totally dismisses anything that happened before or after with regards to these kids being able to get treatment. That the kids that you're funding to have their fucking limbs blown off. Marco Rubio is disgusting. Just like the rest of them.
He's a bitch.
You're gay. That's right.
That's
anything else before we get
Rubio.
to your tiki talkies?
Oh, look at that! It says TikTok.
Yeah, it sure does.
I got some TikToks for you.
Oh, look at that! It says TikTok.
So this first one, it's a nice little segue into all of our heavy criticisms of the state of Israel right now. It kind of talks about APAC and like really goes into like why they're kind of like shitty and goes into
just a little shitty.
Just there's a kind of bit, little teeny tiny bit shitty, you know.
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
I'll remove this for you, Belle. Go ahead and share that video. Yeah, because we all know APAC. We all know that they are somehow have gotten away with not signing up for FARA. Go ahead and start that video. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
He's trying.
Why is APAC so controversial? Do you really want to take on APAC? This might be my only opening. Okay, strap in. The first thing that you need to understand is the difference between traditional lobbyist organizations and us. Most lobbyists are businesses that make money representing clients. But you found a loophole. APAC is an ideologically based lobbyist nonprofit that's funded by donors, functionally similar to the NRA. It's just instead of being pro-firearms, you're pro-Israel? Nope. We are for the advancement of the U.S.-Israeli relationship in ways that enhance security for both countries. Because representing a foreign government means that you'd have to register under FARA. Correct. And that would be bad. Should I really care that much about a government regulation? The thing is that we have extraordinary bipartisan influence over U.S. politics, which is why you donate so much to re-election campaign. But I mean, that's pretty common for lobbyists, right? Nope. We don't donate. We have a very unique relationship with our wealthy donors where if we tell them to support a candidate, they show up. Oh, because of the campaign contribution limits. Exactly. Our ability to wield our donors is how we fund campaigns, our super PAC, even a nonprofit that makes all of this possible that we'll talk about later, but they are the bread and butter of our power, which you use to shape Congress. We keep scorecards on different representatives, how you vote on things. If you piss us off, we will punish you. Oh, what, like ex-Mossad? Oh, no, we primary you. That can't be that effective, right? Especially if you're going after an incumbent. It is wildly effective. UDP spends more money in Democratic primaries than any other super PAC. Most of the time, if UDP backs a candidate, they win. Well, why are you so focused on Democratic primaries? Well, there seems to be a growing problem with anti-Semitism in progressive circles. Take, for example, Jamal Bowman or Andy Levin. Oh, right. I remember that. They were both critical of Israel. They supported
Andy Levin was Jewish, by the way.
You backed both of their opponents and they both lost, but I can't find anything they said that was anti-Semitic. We never said they did. You just did. No, I didn't. We did the same thing during the election. We put out an ad talking about a rise in anti-Semitism, and then we asked viewers, are you going to stand up to Jamal Bowman? It's just a heavy insinuation. You asked why we're controversial, and I warned you about making this video. It kind of feels like you're weaponizing a really important word as a way to avoid accountability, which is then cheapening the word itself. Are you justifying anything bad towards us? Unequivocally, no. What I am saying is that I'm going to get plenty of that comment for trying to have a conversation that at its core is about an organization that looks like it might potentially be influencing our government on behalf of a foreign government. You love wading into controversial topics, don't you? Also, no, I hate making these videos. You have no idea how much diarrhea I get.
That's APAC, baby.
Yeah.
They explain how they get away, how they get around, like having to register as a foreign. What does FARA stand for? It's foreign. Oh shit, I forgot what it stands for. But yeah, APAC basically lobbies for a foreign government, foreign entity, and does it under the guise of, well, it's for American Jewish relations or American and Israeli relations.
And to prevent anti-Semitism.
So this next one, moving on to UnitedHealthcare. They just had a whistleblower lately.
FARA stands for the Foreign Agents Registration Act. I couldn't remember either what the letters meant.
And I was really just throwing a layup up there, hoping someone could dunk it.
Yeah,
this next one's about UnitedHealthcare and whistleblowers. I don't know if you guys heard about the recent whistleblowing, but this video will kind of explain it for you. Go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage.
Whistleblowers.
We sure do.
Hey, boss, I have those numbers for you. What's wrong? Did something happen? More whistleblowers, Jimothy. They're everywhere. Oh, man. People keep talking about the awful things we do, even though we specifically asked them not to. What was it this time? Here, take a look. What is this? It's how we make money. You think $300 billion grows on ethical, non-criminal trees? Let's see. Prior authorizations, claim denials. What is super cancer? Oh yeah, $1 from every copay goes toward research to make cancer go faster. Way more cost effective if the tumors just get to the point already. Dear God. Anyway, turn to chapter 16, section F.
I think that one's hyperbolic.
Nursing homes used to be a place you could hide tons of schemes. No one ever paid any attention. You're paying secret bonuses to nursing homes that limit hospitalizations? Yeah, why should hospitals get all the Medicare Advantage money when it could go to us? Because nursing home residents frequently have to go to the hospital. And we're paying secret bonuses to nursing home staff to persuade them not to send patients to the hospital. What are you not getting about this, Timothy? You're also encouraging nursing home staff to get patients to sign do not resuscitate orders, allegedly. But there are firsthand accounts of nurse practitioners and families who say this is happening. Whistleblowers. So how is UnitedHealthcare going to respond? We have already deployed an airtight statement defending against these wrongful accusations. Okay, what does it say? Nuh-uh.
But yeah, so right now I'm looking at a Guardian article, and it's revealed UnitedHealthcare secretly paid nursing homes to reduce hospital transfers.
Anything to avoid paying claims, and before anybody out there wants to blame capitalism, it's the wrong people to point at.
Yep, no,
it
is.
All the time.
Yeah, no, it's there's an example of this. I was talking to somebody about this at work. They were talking about the food industry and how much, and they were saying that, like, yeah, capitalism, we make all this food, but it all gets thrown out, and like there's enough food to be made to feed everyone, and yet they're just not. And I was like, well, like, just as much as you want to blame capitalism, it's also big government, for the sake that they put those regulations on food that, like, if it passes a date, they can't donate it. They have to throw it out to where the food is probably still good. Like stuff like bacon. Bacon lasts for fucking ever. It's already smoked. It's already cured. If it's cold and in the package, it's going to last longer than the date. The date is just there to protect the producer of it from fucking being sued. And on top of that, he's like, yeah, dude, they'll destroy corn. I'm like, yeah, because that's the government putting in regulations to try to stabilize the price of corn to make sure farmers are paid. Like, all of that shit is real. Like, that's all government doing that. Like, yeah, everybody could have corn right now, but farm lobbyists lobby the government to put in regulations that corn can only be grown to a certain point, and anything past that, it like has to be destroyed to stabilize the price and the futures of corn.
Not to
like,
mention,
that's all stuff that actually happens in our government.
Not to mention to your food waste issue. Just to add to what you said, there's all of the regulations on what it takes to start any sort of nonprofit organization that can then distribute food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was it, like 6 months ago? We played a video of like it was like a person on like a corner, just like giving food away. Wasn't it somebody like from a food bank that was, but because they weren't in a designated building,
they didn't have a permit.
Yeah, they were giving away food to homeless people, but they weren't allowed to give away food to homeless people because they quote unquote didn't have the proper permits. But
right.
Yet, you know what? It's all capitalism.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, remember when the government was stabbing water bottles at different protests and stuff like that, and different outings where they were trying to give food and water to people, and they said because they didn't have a permit and the water could be unsafe, even though it was sealed water bottles.
Yeah. Government overreach, my friends. It's not capitalism. Yeah. It's government overreach.
That's why E85 didn't take off. Because everyone decided to start growing corn and flush the market.
Yeah, and it includes the healthcare industry and the red tape and what Obamacare with Obamacare forcing mandates and continuing to make these health insurance companies even richer, bilking healthy people like you and I for our premiums, for extra money. Like, it's not even like they were taking the profits from those premiums and using them to pay claims for actual sick people. Like we probably would have been okay with.
It's bullshit. You know, like I pay for health, dental, and medical for my whole family, and we're all very healthy. None of like we don't go to the doctors, right? Like I haven't short of emergencies, but I literally had to have a doctor. Like I had to go to a specialist, an ophthalmologist, even though I'm paying almost $200 every 2 weeks out of my check for insurance for the whole family. I still had to pay a specialist $80 just to drop some dye in my eye to go, oh, yep, nope, you got a scratch there. Just go home and keep it rested.
Oh, by the way, here's your $200 copay.
$80 copay.
What am I paying for insurance for? Like, that's the whole point of it, right?
Right. Yeah, it's all bullshit. And then you understand it. So then like that's what it comes to, like context, right? Like that's why I can't fault anybody or be upset with anybody when they say that we should have universal health care, because it's like that seems to be the only alternative. And
they don't understand that it won't work.
It's just as much of a fucked up system as the healthcare system we have now. You're right.
Fucked up. It's more fucked up. We talked about this last week, because like the issues that we have with our healthcare system. Yeah, you have to go into you may have to go into medical debt, but you'll live. You'll survive.
All the issues that we don't have with our medical system is the issues that other countries have. And what does Tom Sowell say? There is no solutions. There's only trade-offs.
Right. And the trade-off for universal healthcare, I don't think anybody's actually going to want.
And the last video I have for you is your senator a piece of shit?
Yes. Yes.
This guy literally just breaks down all the senators and like things about him that makes him a piece of shit. And so this one
is this
more local for us.
That pig dog?
She actually might be on there, but I didn't find that one. I just found this one because it just came across my feed.
You can just shut up, baby, because you hate America and you love abortion.
But this one right here is our other senator, good old Gary Peters.
Oh, boy.
So go ahead and throw that one up there, Belle.
Gary Tiny Peters.
And then play it whenever you're ready.
Is your senator a piece of shit? Let's find out. Welcome to Senator Sunday. Today we're going to be grading the financial integrity of Gary Peters from Michigan, who announced he will not be running for re-election in 2026. Currently, the prediction market Kalshi gives the Democrats a 75% chance of holding onto this seat. And as for the Democratic primary, there's three main candidates we're going to be keeping an eye on. The first is Haley Stevens from Michigan's 11th congressional district, who took over $300,000 of corporate PAC money last cycle. Next up is Marjorie McMorrow, a Michigan state senator who's taken a pledge not to take any corporate PAC money. And also Abdul El-Sayed, who has also taken a pledge not to take corporate PAC money. On the Republican side, odds are the nominee is going to be John James from Michigan's 10th congressional district, who took over
just going to lose again.
He's
such a loser.
Money last cycle. But who will they be replacing? Well, Gary Peters has been in office since 2015, and over the last 6 years, he's raised over $56 million, with 8% of those funds coming from PACs, 36% of those funds coming from small individual donations, and 54% of those funds coming from large individual donations. Moving to his personal finances, he is a prolific stock trader, making over 196 trades since he's been in office, with an estimated trade volume over $2.5 million. Currently, it's estimated that $2.5 million out of his $7 million net worth is held in individual stocks. Back to the campaign side, he's also gotten a lot of corporate funds over the last 6 years. We're talking over $1 million from 186 different corporate PACs. Moving on to grading, this obviously isn't good. Gary Peters gets an F.
But yeah, just talking about how money is constantly thrown around in the government.
Is your senator a piece of shit?
Is your senator a piece of shit?
The odds of the answer to that question being like if I'm betting on Kalshi,
right?
I'm throwing all my money on. I'm throwing all my money on yes.
That's all I got.
Unless I live in Thomas Massey's district. Has he done Thomas Massey?
He might have.
We should find that out. That would be good. All right. I don't know where Bell went. He probably had to take a shit. Probably had to unload a little bit. That's okay. We've all been there.
Seriously overweight.
Did the Powerball? This is radio for one, but did the Powerball get drawn yet?
I don't care. You didn't win.
I don't know. I don't know if I won or not yet.
You did not win. Again, if I'm betting on Kelce,
me and 4 friends, me and 4 friends bought 50 tickets.
People are gonna think Kelce's a sponsor or something. I do love that app though; it's really great. Recommend everybody check it out. They're not a sponsor, although Kelce, if you're listening. Anyway, that's all we got for tonight. Why don't you tell the people where they can find us, Corey, while you look up your Powerball number that you lost?
We still got an hour and 16 minutes. It comes out at 11, I guess.
I just paid $88
for some Powerball tickets, hoping for the best.
Good luck to you, bud.
Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today.
For Bell the Body Snatcher on the ones and twos, he as always has been Corey Walsh.
And he's Dan Griffin. And go blue.
Libservative. That's right. It's been Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy, and the world's smartest internet show. And until next time, we are out of here.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all.